Next up, we have Koch's postulates, which are found after the antiseptic techniques, but in the textbook it comes out in this order. So, anyways, Koch's postulates. Next. These postulates were created by this person named Robert Koch, which is why it's called Koch's postulates. And the thing about these postulates where they verified and tested the germ theory, and they were like, oh, through this experiment, oh, they were like, okay, yes, the germ theory is correct. And what they did was they provided a framework of identifying and ensuring the relationship between infectious microbes and diseases. Memorize this phrase because you anyways, I'll explain this in these four postulates. So these are the four things that must happen in order to identify that the pathogen that was isolated is the disease. So it verified the germ theory, these four things. So first is the pathogen must be present if the disease is found. And then second is that the pathogen must be isolated and grown in a pure, uncontaminated culture. Healthy animals infected with a pure culture must develop the disease. Pathogen must be recollected from the newly sick animal and be identical to the original pathogen. So, to further explain this in a more understandable manner, pathogen must be present if the disease is found. So if there's like a like let's say a hamster and it has a certain disease, then if it must be present if it has a disease because a pathogen is the thing that causes the disease. So what they do is they take out that pathogen from the sick hamster and they put it into like a pure environment so that no other environmental factors will be able to influence its growth. So the pathogens will grow by themselves and will not have anything affecting them. And then later, we get another healthy hamster that doesn't have any disease, and we inject that pathogen into that hamster. And and it must develop the disease because it's a pathogen. So it we inject it, and the animal will now have the disease. And so we take now that it has a disease and now that the hamster is sick, we take out that pathogen again in order to compare it to the original pathogen that was taken out from hamster number one. So there's hamster number one and hamster number two. The disease that was put into hamster number two was from hamster number one. And since they're the same pathogen, this verified that it was this pathogen that actually caused the disease. These four things, it's best to just memorize them, but yeah, this next bullet point is like an explanation to help you guys understand better. Finally, we have this thing called antiseptic techniques, which was founded in 1865 by this person named Joseph Lister. So what antiseptic techniques is, they are sanitizing and cleansing surgical tools in order to prevent infection. That was the theory. They say that, oh, if we clean those tools with acid, if we take out like the germs and the bad stuff from the tools, then infection would no longer be a factor into like a person's death. And so the germ theory that was introduced before, it helped lay the foundation, and it helped people say, oh, because of these germs people are dying, because of the germs on these tools that we use, people are getting infected more. So what they did was they decided to clean those surgical tools before doing surgery on a person. And what they found was that there was a huge decrease in the amount of people getting more sick or in the amount of people dying after the surgery, because now those tools that they used, like the scalpel, the knife that they use and stuff like that, they didn't have germs on them. So during surgery, the 환자, the patient, would not get affected from those germs. And the conclusion from all three theories is that germs cause disease. This is the most important thing. Before, they thought that spirits cause disease, or like stuff like the body fluid cause diseases. But because of these three things, people were now able to they're now 확신해 that it's the germs that cause the disease.